Hi everyone! So I have been able to get to some of your comments. Also, thank you for commenting, liking, and subscribing! And have noticed some of you asking for help on planning out your island so things feel a little bit less overwhelming. So today I am here to do just that, and I'm going to be starting a new series that will completely walk you through start to finish ways to plan out the island of your dreams. But before we get into that, I wanted to announce that I made an Animal Crossing Instagram, yay! So on here I'll be posting cute QR codes that I find, quick tips, and pictures, and just like other things to help you get more island inspiration. So if that seems like something you're interested in, it's at Laron Plays. Yes, that is 4 R's. It's not great, but hopefully this helps. But onto the video. So all these videos will help both people who have not yet started their island already, you little wee BBs, you, and also those of us who have already started and are now emotionally attached to our villagers and feel like we're in too deep and, dare I say, stressed. But in this video, I did want to just make sure to start by going over some things if you have not yet started your island that you should know beforehand before you pick anything, because this is important, so have a seat. So if you have not yet started your island or have kind of been considering restarting, there are a few things that I looked into beforehand that I think really helped me set up my island exactly how I wanted. And the first one of those is when you choose your map, make sure you're paying attention to where the river exits, the rocks, and your beaches are, because these are things that you cannot change. So for the river exits, these are either going to be a combination of both exits on the south side of your map, one on the south side combined with either an east or a west, and these are just completely random and they will vary. So when I selected my island, like I said, I already kind of looked into this like a nerd, and I knew that I wanted my exits to fall on both the east and the south side. And the reason I chose this is so that I would have a big old chunk of land in the middle already available, and I wanted this because I like the idea of just like having my rivers run through my island like you can see that they are, but still having lots of space immediately available, since areas will be initially blocked off at the beginning until you get these convenient tools. So if the first 4 islands that they're giving you are not what you want and you do have a specific idea in mind, you don't like any of these, I see no shame in restarting. For the second thing to keep in mind is if you do have a preferred fruit in mind out of these options, make sure that this is something that you get at the beginning. So you're going to see this as you fly over your island. So remember what I said, I got the island I wanted after I restarted. Yeah, well then I got apples, and if you love apples, that's great, but I was not emotionally prepared to have apples as my fruit, so I had to restart the game again until I found both the river exits I wanted and ended up with pears. So if you aren't into pears, if you see a bunch of pears when you're flying over your island, make sure that you hit that restart button, otherwise you're gonna get stuck with these. The third thing to be aware of is your airport color. So this is a slightly more minor thing that honestly I didn't really care about, especially after restarting this game like 4 times. But your airport color does actually signify something. So for example, my airport is green, which means that when you go into resident services and you exchange Nook Miles for items, which is my teacup ride, the windmill, and the park clock, are all white, and my solar panel and this big old like dinosaur thing are blue, the streetlight is black, the vending machine is red, etc. But if you have, say, an orange airport, things will look like this. A blue airport, you're gonna end up with something like this. A yellow one, kind of like this, or something similar to this. And this is not 100% confirmed, but I can tell you that this is what I ended up with my island, and I know that some of my friends and like my family that I have gone to, if they have other colors, it does match up with this. So again, this is not a huge thing because you can just exchange things or ask your friends with like other airport colors for things. But if it is really important to you to have a certain color set of things or just a certain color airport, this is again something to keep in mind before you proceed forward. And the final thing is to be aware of your resident services. So things like your house, your islanders' homes, the museums, the shops, everything else can be moved for a fee, but your resident services is something that cannot be messed with once it's down. So just be mindful of how much space you want between the entrance and the resident services, because some people like it really close, so it's just like an immediate welcome, whereas like I personally preferred it a little bit further away, but it is totally up to your personal preference. So I think both are great, but if you are looking for a perfectly centered one, I did find this map from a Reddit user who did have a perfectly centered resident services area. So if this is important to you, you can now see what this looks like and try to duplicate something like this. But overall, those are the initial things that I think you should pay attention to if you are starting or restarting the game game. And for those of you who weren't aware of these things, it is okay. We can work with whatever you have going on. And I think, I don't know, at the end of the day, like, people get so stressed about their islands, and like that is the opposite of what the goal is. So whether you are knee deep in weeds and the only thing you have going for you is one little stereo next to a resident services hoping your villagers will jam out, but instead they just keep leaving, that's okay. We can work with that. And in the next video, I will be going over steps that you can take to start planning out your island. So even if, again, you are already emotionally attached and there's no going back at this point, we can figure out how to work with things from there. So thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to check out my Animal Crossing Instagram if that seems like something that you would be into. Subscribe, whatever I'm supposed to say at the end here. And I appreciate all of you, and we'll see you tomorrow for part 2.